1, 2, 3, 4. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on.
Hang on, here we go. It's Thursday with Mike and John Got It Going On, brought to you by Firehouse Doors. And you know what Thursday means?
More snow?
One day away from Friday.
Oh.
Well, we will get snow this weekend.
How were the roads this morning?
Main road's not bad at all. Highway's good. Some of the side streets and stuff. You're doing that side street slide.
Right. My commute was okay. Just down the stairs was fine.
There was one slippage.
Yeah.
But you made it through it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Got a
hung
little
on.
coffee. That's why I had brown carpet.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
Blending. Were you happy with facilities management this morning?
Well, I did have to park on the other side, so I'm in my different parking space because there was a big chunk on the side that I pull in on.
Big chunk of snow?
Yeah, it was a big chunk of snow. It was about the size of a... It's unacceptable, quite frankly.
I will talk to the facilities management person.
I hope you do.
Guy's a genius.
Maybe park on the wrong side. It's like when we were talking the other day about parking in your parking spot where you work or the store you go to. You usually have this area that you park in, and it kind of sets things off in a different tone when you have to park in a different spot.
Well, yeah, but you don't want to.
That's all right. I just watch it when I back out. And since you live on a cul-de-sac kind of thing, there's a big pile in the middle, so that's kind of
right. The plow comes through and leaves that.
Donuts. See, I think the plow guys, they like doing donuts, don't you think?
You know,
they like donuts and doing donuts.
Well, who doesn't?
We do have school closings, correct?
We do, and you'll find the list on Facebook. All the public school districts, Livingston County closed. They closed them all last night. Basically, it was interesting. You typically see the comments. Well, we got a bunch of pansies running the districts these days.
Okay, Agnes.
I think her name was Agnes. Anyway.
I know it was, and the first thing I thought of is Agnes probably isn't really young.
But
her horse didn't have to worry about going off the side of the road when she went to school.
The issue is,
That's
obviously,
not nice, Mike.
No, it's not nice.
Sorry, Agnes.
It's the back roads. It's the dirt roads that the buses have to travel on, and those obviously.
Well, and half the buses don't have catalytic converters anyway. So
this is a problem.
This is a problem.
This is So anyway, yes. So most schools are closed in the Livingston County area today. You'll find the list on our Facebook page, of course. Coming up, we'll be talking with Rich Perlberg with The Less You Know. And I want to tell you right now, I talked to Rich yesterday.
He rode his horse into the schools
Yes, he did. Yes. Uphill both ways.
Yes.
And he, once again, has violated the cardinal rule because he did some research. So...
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to him about that.
Do we have to drop this segment?
I don't know.
Rich is off by the side of the road.
So we'll talk with him coming up in a little bit.
All right, we'll get the answer to last night's Wednesday night, snowy Wednesday night trivia.
Right, I saw that.
We'll get to a 2-cent history lesson and more. But first, let's get things started with local news brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton.
All right, here's what's going on. Wednesday's State of the State was a first on two fronts. When Governor Gretchen Whitmer addressed the Michigan legislature, it was the first time she'd done so in person since 2020 due to the pandemic. It was also the first time in 40 years a Democratic governor addressed the legislature controlled by Democrats. In her speech, Whitmer focused on two main policy proposals: immediate tax relief to help Michiganians cope with rising prices, and common sense gun safety measures. Local lawmakers and officials offered their reaction after the speech. No surprise, Democrats applauded it, Republicans questioned it. Nice job. Are you going to be our dramatic acting out of the news? You wanna,
okay. I'm just saying, in those
that's how it rolls.
Speeches, it's claps and boos, and since they're all on your team, they're going to clap for you.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, it's like the State of the Union. It's like the State of the Union. When the president gives the State of the Union, it's like one half stands up. Well, there's that, and you're like,
okay, they're doing calisthenics.
It wasn't quite that bad last night.
Fat old guys did that stuff. Okay, let's get back to the news.
Maybe you should come on. Hey, as long as you guys are up.
Yeah. Maybe we should do what the Manning brothers do during Monday Night Football, and do that during one of the regular State of the Union or State of the State speeches.
All right.
We can comment on that. It looks like we got a rookie. He's a little slow standing up.
Yeah. So,
All right, get back to the news. will
yeah,
you?
thank you. Republican Representative Ann Boland of Brighton offered a single social media comment saying she wanted the governor to commit to keeping an income tax rollback that was set to kick in this year. On the Democratic side, Representative Jennifer Conlon, whose 48th House district includes parts of Livingston County, expressed optimism that the agenda laid out by Whitmer can be achieved. A Brighton school board trustee says he wants the teachers union office at Brighton High School removed, although there's evidence that suggests there's involvement in that effort by the newly elected head of the Livingston County Republican Party. The accusation that the district is violating the law by allowing the Brighton Education Association office was made at Monday night's board meeting by Treasurer John Conley. He laid out his opposition to the BEA having an office at the high school. Conley said in his mind, the district, by providing the room to the BEA free of charge, was de facto helping to fund the union, alleging that there was no legal basis for the office and questioning the validity of a BEA employee who works there. When questioned about the allegations made by Conley, Brighton Superintendent Dr. Matthew Outlaw provided Gigo News with the current contract language between the district and the union that indicates the arrangement for an office is included. Outlaw said the district, as always, is committed to following applicable law and honoring its contractual obligations. Meanwhile, screenshots posted to social media indicate Jennifer Smith, who was a newly elected head of the Livingston County GOP, was making all of these same accusations online earlier this month in an attempt to seek legal assistance to remove the union office. Smith has a long and contentious history with the Brighton district, as well as a reported history of collusion with John Conley. You'll find all those details posted on our website, mikeandjohnpodcast.com. Requests for comment have been made to Conley and Smith, but were not returned. And finally, a Heartland High School computer programming teacher has been named the 2023 Michigan Association of Career and Technical Education Teacher of the Year. Ann Hasselt was recognized for creating an environment for her students that's not only engaging, but innovative with authentic application in computer science. The award recognizes the finest career and technical teachers at the middle and secondary school level who have demonstrated innovation in the classroom, commitment to their students, and dedication to the improvement of CTE in their institutions and communities. And that is what's going on.
So when you were ghosted by Smith and Conley, did you give him the Gigo number?
I did not.
That's 517-525-9052.
If either them
I know
or,
you're sitting there watching our live stream right now.
Well, yeah.
Conley and Smith and Conley.
Well, if they are, well, never mind.
They haven't commented yet. That is the Gigo
Yes,
line.
I am looking. If you do, by the way, if you do follow us on YouTube, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel,
Live streaming.
And you watch the live stream, you can also live comment. There's a live chat. So you can just,
Have you ever live chatted on those?
Yeah.
Well, not just ours, but I mean on any YouTube thing.
No, I'm generally not.
No,
I'm not.
you're not
my
on here.
kids are more into the tube.
Into the tube.
Well, they talk about tubers, and I'm like, potatoes? What are we referring to here?
That could be a
yeah.
whole
Right.
whole different ballgame there, tubers.
So,
But be a YouTuber with us as we live stream weekdays
right.
starting at 7 a.m. or pretty close to it.
right, and all you have to do is go to youtube.com/Mike and John podcast.
So you can download the YouTube app, right?
I have it wrong. It's youtube.com/Mike and John got it going on.
Got it now.
Yeah, now you got it.
All right, we'll just go to YouTube, download the app.
Yeah,
you can find us
just
there.
search us out.
Exactly.
It's not that hard.
Well, it's just like Googling,
That's what
but
she
it's
said.
tubing.
Right. I like
It's
tubing.
tubeling.
No, it's just tubing.
tubing.
Yeah.
Okay. News brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. Of course, serving the community for many years, has been Livingston County's #1 jeweler for many years, and they feature right-hand rings. Have you ever worn a right-hand ring?
I have not. I have a
you know what
left-hand ring.
Well, you put the right hand before the left hand in certain situations.
Okay.
And
Do you shake it all about? And then you do the hokey pokey? And
it's
you-
kind of
yeah.
a Macarena. You lead with the right hand. Put the left hand in.
Maybe that's what you can do at
it's
the next State of the
hokey-pokey.
Union. You want to get up and go, all right, now.
If they're going to get up, they might as well. But they do have a complete line of right-hand rings, and there's many different reasons for wearing a right-hand ring. Some are when you get engaged. You put the engagement ring on the right hand.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
And then it transfers over to the left hand when
Right.
you say your I do's, and
That's
it
a
gives you the
whole-
out if you really don't want to. Or if you just want to have a cool jewelry on both hands and be even when you walk, because you don't want to have one hand dragging and one.
No, you don't.
Because then you're walking like
Well,
an Egyptian.
Right. That's all. Then when they
What's
State
wrong?
of the Union, you go, okay, now everybody. All right.
Check in with Lindsay and the staff
Yes.
at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers to find out all about the right-hand rings and more. Simon G, Zagani Designs, and of course, they have their Antiques Roadshow style buying event, which is coming up in the end of February, February 28th through March 2nd. You can find out more on their website, on their Facebook page, Cooper and Binkley Jewelers, or call them, 810-227-2221.
All right.
News brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. All right, so other things going on when it comes to trivia from last night, our snowy Wednesday night trivia question.
Right.
Brought to you by Tanya Zirkle, Remax Platinum. The question, 35%. Keep up with me, John.
I'm sorry.
Get off the YouTuber.
I'm sorry.
All right, 35% of husbands surveyed. That meant they said, are you guys married? We're going to ask you questions. You're
Right.
going to answer the question. 35% of those husbands surveyed weren't paying attention.
Well, you were, and I saw these questions. I'm like, well, he's daring. He's getting back into these man-women questions.
Venus and Mars thing.
Right? I'm
Ooh.
like, all right.
We don't want to
He's
get
not.
people-
You can't scare this guy easy. Couple critical comments.
35%. Well, because most things we do differ on. And
what?
it's not. It's,
No.
It is what. It is how things go.
I understand that.
35% of husbands surveyed said when it comes to doing this,
Right.
their wives do it much better than they do. We want to know what it is. Somebody said everything. And that was a woman that said
That's
that.
certainly a perspective.
It is.
Sherry said remembering birthdays, or any kind of.
That see, now my wife writes them all on the calendar. New year, new calendar. We go through and she writes down everybody's birthdays on the calendar. And I was like, do you have mine on there?
And does she?
My wife's birthday's
Yeah,
coming
okay.
up. I got to remember that.
Elizabeth said dancing. That's a given.
Yeah, I think that
You know.
there's very few scenarios where the guy is a better dancer. There's very few.
This is
scenarios when a
why-
guy dances at all.
Well, this is why they have slow songs at weddings.
It really.
So most of us husbands, all right, I got to do the slow dance.
Sure, there's a few times I've come down here to do the podcast, get here a little earlier than John expects,
supposed
and
to-
he's got a little
Hey,
Sinatra going.
hey.
He's doing
What
a little
happens-
fly me to the moon.
What happens before we go live stays not
You're right.
live.
I'm sorry for outing you on that one.
Stays dead.
Beth said singing, and I would say, in general, most times.
Well, it
women are-
depends. I mean, there's great men singers, but I guess
Yeah,
amongst
Freddie
husbands and
Mercury,
wives, yeah.
Elvis. That's about it.
That's okay. I guess.
Christine said making a snowman. I think for guys, I mean, when's the last time you made a snowman with your kids, or perhaps you just were bored yesterday because it was good packing.
It was.
I did think about it as I was shoveling, going, "This is really good packing." This is. I thought of Buddy the Elf.
Well, I actually
But
used
snowman
the
making.
snow blower, and I realized, I have an extra wide driveway, which most of the time is nice. You can park extra cars in there and kind of get around.
But it's more to shovel.
In the winter with the snowblower, my snowblower, especially when it's heavy snow, it can't quite in the so
Yeah.
it just kind of shoves it to the side, and
Then
then
you gotta read.
snow blow it again. Yeah. Anyway, Kim said multitasking.
Yeah, I'd say women are in general. And I don't mean that to be sexist, but,
But
in
no,
the most part,
I
women
don't-
they're
I-
better at multitasking.
I don't
than we
disagree.
are. And so I would think that more than 35% of husbands would
Right.
agree with that.
Now, you at one point offered a hint.
Yeah, because everybody was going back to the old laundry,
Right.
cleaning, all the household chores. This really isn't a household
No,
chore.
no, it is not.
What was our answer? Oh, yeah.
Hey, I haven't looked it up today. So,
It is, it is one thing that in certain scenarios, some wives will count on their husbands to do this better than they do.
not my wife.
No?
Let me tell you, this one is definitely, I will say,
That's in her wheelhouse.
this is her
Yeah.
thing. And there's a lot of times when I'll just say, well, that's your thing. And she'll roll her eyes and be like, yeah, okay.
So I think
Because you don't want to do it.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Trip and travel planning. I think that's definitely something my wife does much better than I do. Because I'm like, yeah, let's go here. Go ahead and plan it. We're still working on a Hawaii trip I planned for her 50th birthday, which was a while
It's
ago.
out west. If you need any help.
Hawaii's out west.
Yeah. It's out
Okay,
west.
it's out
I want
west.
to point you in the right direction.
Okay, yeah. It's on the computer.
Yeah.
Gardening was a good guess. 'Cause-
Krista said making money. Again, the stereotype is that men earn more than women. And
Well,
actually,
and-
it's more than a stereotype. We do know that on average, men in the same job earn more than women in the same job, equally qualified. So that's always an issue. But
we didn't have anything to do with that. Just
No,
so
no,
you know.
no.
It's, you know what?
Yeah.
We wanted our wives to make more money than us.
You know,
And they probably do.
Susan, aka Cougar, said keeping track of scheduled events.
Yeah, that's probably true. Where am I supposed to be and when? So probably more men, more than 35% of guys would agree with that.
Right. Our answer, however,
Was negotiating deals.
Yeah.
Negotiating deals.
I
think my wife is probably better at that in most things, like handling like the cable.
Right.
Or the phone deals.
Right.
Like with.
But I've
with phone
extended.
companies.
My wife is much better. Because she's calm. I've generally found swearing at people doesn't necessarily get them to cooperate with you.
Hello? Yes.
So-
You found it works so well with inanimate devices,
Right.
like a printer or a computer or your
So-
phone.
So
Why won't you work?
Yeah, so she's better. She's much more calm and patient. I have none of that.
Yeah.
And I've sort of I've expanded it beyond that to things like dealing with insurance. Or I was like, you're better at that. It's like, really?
It's just like, you're right.
I mean, I think she knows that's true, but still, she's like,
So
yeah.
let's get this straight.
And I'm usually on the TV with the remote in my hand. Hey, you're better at that. Anyway,
But you know what? You got her beat when it comes to snowblowing the driveway.
well, this is true.
That's our job. All right.
And getting rid of the spiders.
So thanks to everybody that chimed in. I don't think anybody got the correct answer. Negotiating deals.
Right.
35% of husbands surveyed said when it comes to negotiating deals, their wives are much better at it than they are.
All right, and trivia brought to you by Tanya Z. Of course, Tanya Zirkle with Remax Platinum. Her motto, comfort is the key to home. You can find her online, soldbytanyaz.com, or email her, soldbytanyaz at gmail.com.
All right, Rich Perlberg joining us for the Less You Know.
I think it is that time.
I forgot what we were talking about again, but that's okay. We'll find out.
Well, he's gonna
He's gonna
let us know.
gonna delve into the subject
I mean,
today.
that's the plan, at least.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rich.
You sound so serious.
You did when you answered
Yeah.
too.
You were,
Usually,
yeah.
It's like, did we catch up?
Usually, you're much more boisterous.
more ebullient, is that the word?
Well,
Sure.
Joyful.
ebullient. God, come on, Rich.
Look that up, will you?
Ebullient.
Um,
It's part of my self-improvement, a word of the day. I'm up to-
Maybe that'll be our
I'm
new
up-
segment. We were
I'm up
thinking
to-
about.
I'm up to one now.
Okay, well, we were thinking about canceling this segment because I informed Mike at the beginning that you violated again the stricture. You did some research,
Oh man, I'm sorry.
so I'm like, well, I don't know. We may have to figure this out. But
Why don't you pick a topic I know nothing about? I mean, there has to be something.
Oh, talk about a humble brag.
There has to be something I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am rich and I know things.
Yes.
He's like our own Yoda. Okay.
All right. So what are we?
Speaking the truth, I am.
what are we?
What's up?
Yeah. What are we diving into today? I know that I had a story in the news about the Brighton School Board and a member there wanting to get rid of the union office at the high school and trying to make that into a controversy. You also have something that's becoming controversial in Brighton schools and elsewhere.
The question about whether books are being pulled, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's I can't get excited about this union office thing. I mean, I've always thought it odd, but it's been in place. How long did your story say?
At
20
least 40 years. Yeah.
40 years.
And it's a standard
Yeah.
arrangement. Most public school districts have an arrangement with the teachers union.
Well,
that
it's not. It's
yeah.
more than an arrangement. I think it's in the contract.
it is.
isn't
It's
it?
contractual. Yeah. I mean,
So I
right.
mean, I can see why people think it's unusual. On the other hand, if it's in the contract, and I think I gathered that the superintendent Matthew Outlaw was trying to dance around that carefully, but you can't be negotiating contracts in public.
never a good business move. Yeah.
You can get a unfair labor practice on that. I mean, the State's Open Meetings Act allows you to go into private session for certain things. but it mandates you go into private sessions to discuss labor contracts.
Right.
And that's a fact. And so you're playing with fire when you start, um, posturing in public about something that's in the contract.
Right, and that was some of the concerns that were expressed. And so concerns have also been expressed about this other issue that has been sort of bubbling up in the social media sphere and elsewhere about, that some books that have been pulled from circulation in the Brighton School District.
How many have been pulled?
Well, there you go. That's the magic question. And this is where I got in trouble with you guys, because I actually contacted the superintendent to try and see if I could get some facts out of this. And I think technically that'd be called research.
Yeah, that's what okay. Well, you did the research, so I guess we'll allow it.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
And I had a really pleasant talk with Dr. Outlaw, which I think is a great name.
I know,
Dr.
Outlaw.
Are you kidding me? That's a Netflix series
It
waiting
really
to happen.
does. I mean, does he have an eye patch? He kind of should. I think he should look like Snake Plissken.
Superintendent Outlaw.
Dr. Outlaw.
But we didn't get into specifics very much at all. He clearly was trying to say is, yes, I know this is a national story. There'll be attempts to try to draw Brighton into it. He tried to describe it as something fairly routine, that they're always checking books, and he didn't. In fact, he would not tell me how many books were currently being under review, other than they were less than a handful.
Okay.
So
I heard the number 4.
That was on social media,
right?
And when I was saying, I was trying to get him to say which books are we talking about, and he said he didn't want to get into that. He didn't want to feed the social media.
I'd like to add green eggs and ham to the list, because I think that can cause food poisoning. Quite frankly, green eggs. Let's face it.
Well, and I told him. I mean, we wasn't at all a confrontational conversation. I said I think that's a mistake not to put it out there. His comment was, we're not going to send out emails if we take a book off the shelf. And again, this is going to I got to go true confessions. I read a long piece by an organization called PEN America, and they're talking about the great increase in bans and challenges across the country in just the last few years. So based on that, I would be surprised if books that they're not considering don't include books like Gender Queen, All Boys Aren't Blue, Lawn Boy, Out of the Darkness, The Bluest Eye, and Beyond Magenta. Those tend to be
and they
country. And I think that's where he's makes a mistake, because if he just puts the words out there and say it's normal, go ahead. People will know. But now it lets people like me speculate.
Right. But generally, based on what we've seen in other districts and around the country, like, he acknowledged, these books are generally by authors or have characters that are either from the LGBTQ community or, people of color. And so, and they're not even just necessarily newer books. When I say newer, I mean within the last 5 years. Like you mentioned, The Bluest Eye. This is a Toni Morrison classic.
That was a book that many years ago was center of a controversy in Howell, Bluest Eye, and Slaughterhouse 5. But the problem is, one of the many problems is, just as you said, that certain topics are being focused on. The LGBTQ books, race books, some history books. There's also the question or the issue that these aren't like random grassroots concerns by parents or community members. There's actually a list of books from national organizations that get sent out, and then local people grab that list and say, "Do you have that book in your library?"
And so the insinuation is that it's not even necessarily that they've looked at these books or that they know specifically there's something in there they find objectionable. Although some parents have expressed concern about
the availability of the book. I mean, when you look at it, it's like these are not books that are necessarily assigned as summer reading or reading assignments for the classes. Correct? These are just books that are available.
There's different classifications. Some are assigned I think by and large, the ones that get the most publicity now are just happen to be in a library.
Right.
And
Right.
in
That's
many
that's what I'm
districts,
saying. It could be there, and the kid could not even know that it's there. But now that it's highlighted, it's like, oh, it's there, and they don't want me to read it, and that could draw more attention
Right.
than it ever deserved or needed.
And that was brought up
Yeah.
at a recent Milan school board meeting a couple weeks ago. A woman got up and said, I was curious because there's been all this opposition. She goes, I checked, and she noted that in the years preceding this, controversy in the last couple of
How
years,
many times was
the,
it
the
checked
books
out?
had never, there was like, it was one book that had been checked out once in 5 years, and then it was checked out 7 times last year.
Well, yeah, you pick up the pace. Well, there's another example of that. Just on the other side of that, there's a book called Out of Darkness, which is I guess you'd call it historical fiction. It's based on it uses as its prompt a historical explosion, a tragic explosion at a school in which 300 people were killed, and then she writes a story about that includes interracial love affair from 2 students. Since when she wrote the book, for the first 5 or 6 years, it got nothing but praise, not a single challenge. In the last year or two, it's had dozens of challenges. So that it shows that there's a kind of an underground grapevine that prompts some of these challenges. But here's the other thing that happens. There are policies, and Brighton has one, for parents to challenge a book, and there should be. They're public schools, but they're very spelled out. You've got to fill out a form. You've got to say exactly what your objections are, and then there's a process for a committee to review it. And the policy specifically says that while the review is going on, the book stays in circulation until a decision is made. That doesn't seem to be what's happening here. This seems to be somehow a normal review, as Dr. Outlaw tried to say, or was trying to explain to me, that sometimes books become, that have gotten into the system. There's a review that says, should this book have gotten in? And there can be legitimate reasons to review a book. He uses an example, was a book about suicide called 13 Reasons Why.
Right, and that's been questioned,
by people on both sides, by reasonable people in the mental health field. It's not wild-eyed book banners. You can have different opinions on it. And he didn't say that was one of the books being considered now. But what concerned me about it a little bit is he said this process has been going on since the summer. Well, this is almost February. Why would it be taking so long?
Well, I want to say I did a little research myself, and
What is going on
I'm
here?
sorry.
Am I the only one who's following the format of this thing? Here's what you do.
You do it so well.
Look,
Mike.
I'm sorry. Let me
here's
take
what
notes.
you do.
Let me take
All right.
notes.
If you're concerned about a book getting in the hands of a child that's in the public library, whether it be in a school or a public library or wherever,
Right.
just go check it out forever. And
That's
then
being done, by
nobody
the way.
else can read it.
That's being done, by
And
the way.
if they're worried about it, like you said, if it's still in circulation, if these people are so concerned, then go check it out. And if you can only have it for a limited time, whatever it is, 2 weeks
Well,
or month, then you just pass it along your checkout chain.
Well,
you say, Bob, it's your
I
week.
would
Go
not
check
want
out
to
the book.
advocate for people to surreptitiously remove or hide the book.
That's but if during that review process, if they're worried about it still being in circulation,
well, that's not really what you should do. I will say this:
people don't do a lot of things.
What are you
do.
talking
All
about?
right, dress up like a Viking and go to the library, and storm the library, and hide
No,
the books.
Do not do
Take
that.
them into a back room.
No, do not
and
do
burn
that.
them.
Okay. Well, I'm not representing both sides
Because
here.
That's how
Put on
crazy
your
people
outlaw-
can be.
Put on your outlaw T-shirt.
Yeah.
Outlaw T-shirt.
Dr. Outlaw was
Super
here.
outlaw. There'll be no book burning here. No, but
I was afraid we were going to get too serious.
oh no, we don't want that.
Well, you guys did your
I'm
research.
sorry,
and
I'm
really
sorry.
blew this segment.
I will say this: so there was a new policy enacted in November. I'm steepling now.
Yeah, sure.
This is how you know I'm getting serious.
Oh, boy.
But the board approved a new policy in November that sets up this procedure that you're talking about. The insinuation has been, and I had some interaction with the superintendent as well. And basically what he was saying was that, he didn't say that. I want to be clear. He did not say this to me directly. Reading between the lines, I got the impression that the handful of books that are being questioned, there was the insinuation that they had not gone through the proper procedure as laid out by the board. That's why they had been pulled from circulation, because the concern was they had not been properly vetted previously. So I'm not saying that's correct.
I didn't catch
Yeah.
that, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, why would anybody know? I mean, how did it happen that these books, whatever they are?
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny. He kept saying less than a handful, or I'd say you had a handful of books, right? He goes less than a handful. So how many is
Well,
Was
how
that
big's your
5
hand?
or 4?
I mean, is this a John
Yeah.
Sally handful? If he's got a pretty big hand, you know.
Is it the hamburger helper hand?
Right.
But
That's a
there's
bigger
a
hand.
concern, and he's seemed surprised that I thought that they should
Yeah.
announce what books, if they were any taken off, and he goes, we're not going to send an email out,
Right.
Well, we don't want to let people know.
But here's the thing, though, there is a concern, and it's happened across the country, what they call soft bans, when without anybody knowing about it, there's administratively they pull books from the shelf, and it's not known. And,
We take the rug and
I
we
don't think-
shove them under there. That's
Yeah,
what they're
yeah.
doing. It's a soft
Rug,
ban.
books,
There's
and
a hole in the floor.
But there's a concern, and it was brought up
Right.
earlier. John was talking about the topics that are targeted, and I think it's probably important to see if a certain thing like and I have to keep looking because I get the initials mixed up. LGBTQ, that community stories. It's possible that some of those stories have, even though they may be deemed age appropriate, may have language the district doesn't want to include. The question would be is, if you pull a book or two in that genre, do you have a lot of other books that are still out there?
Right.
That
Have
you
the
would
similar.
issue? If
Right.
you don't, then maybe your issue is with the topic. You're not supposed to just be censoring ideas that are unpopular with certain members of the community or certain board members.
Well, what you want is you want a fair and balanced process in which
and transparent.
transparent. Excellent point. Right. And
I
so
don't see you're seeing that
right. No, and I think that is the concern for sure. So, well,
And
I think
from
we've.
I think from Dr. Outlaw's viewpoint, to be fair to him,
Yeah.
and he seems to be a very reasonable person who's trying to walk a line here. He does not want his district to be brought into the national.
What
battle.
superintendent
He doesn't want-
would?
No,
I mean,
none of
you
them
know.
would. Yeah, I
and,
mean,
and,
it's-
and he's just basically saying some of this is just his position is some of this is normal administrative procedure.
Right.
This isn't a bunch of book burners. That's his position. So.
Okay.
Well, and I would imagine and for the most part, he's probably right. There are some that are they're extreme, and some that are just like, hey, we have to consider this. We have to use common sense and determine whether or not these. I said that with a straight face, but no, I mean, there's a lot to be considered. But like I said before, I think there's these situations where the more you highlight it, the more it's going to draw attention to it. And were these books even looked into before and highlighted, where people may not have even known they were available or cared that they were available, and now
Right.
it becomes highlighted. Just like you can't listen to that record, or you can't watch Saturday Night Live, or you can't watch Benny Hill because there's too much. The things when we were
Wait
growing
a minute,
up.
I'm writing these all down.
You know, when you look at that, it's like, well, now I want to watch it. So
Prisoner
yeah,
Cell
yeah,
Block
but,
8.
yeah, you're not supposed to watch Prisoner Cell Block 8. Okay,
There's
guess
stuff
what I'm watching.
I never would have read if they hadn't showed up.
That's what I'm saying.
But
you know?
it's the age-old point. You tell a kid not to do or see or watch that, you've automatically really instructed their inner brain to go find it and look at it.
Exactly.
I
So
don't know if somebody said you can't read Silas Marner, I still wouldn't have read it.
Well, there are some like that.
So
I didn't want to read it anyway.
Well, that's
I don't
right,
know where
yeah.
to find it.
that's right. You can't read Moby Dick. Well, thank God.
That's a long one.
Hey guys, you can't say Moby. Beep.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Sorry. You can't. That's right. See? All right. Well, I think we've come full circle
Hey,
here.
if Spicoli can say it to Mr. Hand, we can say it on this show. All
So-
right.
But I had done more research.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
I'll have to say that.
You know what? We'll have a special podcast after the podcast.
You know, I think you should do a podcast called Rich's Research.
Yeah, there you go.
A 27-part series.
There you go.
Okay, excellent.
All right, Rich. Thanks again. We did we learn anything?
I think we kind of
I
did,
don't know if
but
we did,
you
so,
know.
We learned some of the things we don't know.
All right.
All
There you go.
right, there you go. All right. So, Rich Perlberg, the less you know. Once again, thank you, and we'll talk to you next week.
You bet.
All right,
All
Rich.
right.
Have a good week.
Okay.
All right. It's we're less than a week away from the big giveaway with our friends at Firehouse Doors.
That's right.
And
Coming
if
up.
you haven't heard yet.
Yeah, Wednesday, February 1st, we will draw a name, and that person will win $500 in Visa gift cards, courtesy of Firehouse Doors. Of course, they are celebrating their 25th year of serving Livingston County. And in January, by the way, you get $25 off a service call if you mention Mike and John.
That's right. So that's a part of the celebration.
Right.
The other part of the celebration is you have a chance to win a $500 Visa gift card.
Right.
But you have to register to do so.
I want to put a verbal asterisk here. Technically it's $500 in Visa gift cards.
Okay.
There is no $500 gift card, which we discovered. So it's multiple gift cards that add up to $500. Just to make that clear.
Wait.
Want to satisfy the lawyers.
Is there a $500 bill, John? I don't even know.
Let's just say you get $500. All right.
That's right. Visa
and-
gift cards.
Right. Courtesy of Firehouse Doors, again, celebrating their 25th year of serving Livingston County. Just an excellent small business, customer focused. And anytime I see, somebody that says, "Oh, I have a garage door problem," and yeah, with garage doors, you don't have a problem until you do. It's just one of those things. It works, and then it works, and then it doesn't.
And
then
we forgot when we hearken back to when we were kids, and you called shotgun in the front seat. And that meant you had to open the garage door
Right.
because we didn't have garage door
Right.
openers back then. Those
So-
doors are heavy.
Yeah, they are.
So-
As I learned when my spring broke and I suddenly could, and the power went out at
like,
the same
oh,
time, and I
that's
thought, I've opened my door. You pull the release and you open the door when the power's out or whatever, if you have to. Okay,
That's a heavy door.
Well, the spring broke, and I realized, and I'm like, I can do this. I'm like, I gave myself a hernia.
Yeah, it's a little easier when the spring's intact.
And I realized, and I called Firehouse Doors. They came right out in a power outage and replaced my spring. So excellent service and customer service is their key, and that's why they've been around for 25 years. So call Firehouse Doors today, 810-599-7480. And then again, coming up Wednesday, February 1st, we will draw out a name to win $500
It's
in
about
Visa
three
gift
quarters
cards.
full right
It is,
now.
yeah.
So get your name in if you're not in already.
Right. So go to mikeandjohnpodcast.com to enter, and we'll draw that name out next Wednesday.
No double dipping. One entry per person.
Right.
We have our staff checking those as we speak.
We have a staff?
Yeah.
Oh, then tell them to
Oh,
go
the
move
staff
that
is
chunk out of the
A
driveway.
stick is what our
Yeah.
staff is. It's like a Moses staff.
It's a stick.
That's our staff. Yeah, I just kind of poke the bin while John's doing the news.
It's like, you poke around the embers in a fire.
That's right. That's our staff,
I'm
right
the
there.
fire keeper.
All right.
We also want to thank Murphy's Family Auto supporters here at Mike and John Got It Going On. They are the place to go for all your automotive needs and vehicle maintenance care problems. Murphy's Family Auto. Give them a call, 517-552-3040. They're open Saturdays 8 to 1. Go online, check them out, murphysfamilyauto.com.
All right, so a couple of things to put on your to-do list for today. Number one, write this number down.
All right.
517-525-9052.
Oh, wow.
That is our Gigo line.
Right.
It's open all the time. May go to voicemail if we don't answer.
Right,
at
you
the
can
time.
call anytime,
But
24/7.
if you have a news tip, a fun tip, a topic you'd like to
Right.
have us cover, something local that's going on, let us know. You can leave the name and number on our voicemail, or this is the line you're going to call during the show.
You can call right now.
If you live stream with us.
517-525.
9052.
Right.
9052.
9052. So,
Also, when you go to our website, mikeandjohnpodcast.com, to sign up to win the $500 in Visa gift cards,
yes.
you can also sign up for our newsletter.
We have a newsletter.
And those people are growing and growing and
They
growing.
are every day.
Join the club. We're
Yeah.
all about community here. So become a part of our news community via the phone line, via the newsletter. You'll get that about 5 o'clock every afternoon. Pop in your email box in case you missed the show, or you don't want to go online. You're just checking your email. Oh, what's going on in Livingston County? Boom, there it is. Right at the palm
Exactly.
of your hand.
And
Just like that.
I'm gonna make the joke. So just
Don't do it.
I'm fighting. Absolutely. So people are every day. We get new people signing up for the newsletter. Be a part of that, and you just get those headlines right into your email
Email box. Your
Box.
inbox.
Your
It could be in
inbox.
your junk mail. Mine comes to the junk mail section.
You know, I've got Gmail, so it's got a promotion section where it sends like because it.
Did you get a raise?
Yeah, oh yeah, I get myself a raise. Doubled my salary. I did.
Yeah.
But you can just change it. Say no, send this to my mailbox. But you get your
Sometimes
you
I
get your
enjoy
stories.
deleting emails, so I get to the junk
look,
mail.
it's that simple. I mean, the thing is we're putting that. You can go to our website and see our headlines anytime you want. But this is a way you can it kind of brings it to you in a way unobtrusively. If you are interested in it, boom, you can click the link and open up the story. If you're like, you can delete it. It's up to you. We give you the choice, but we sort of give it. We put it in front of you and say, here you go.
Read it if you want,
Right.
or you can ban it.
If you want to ban
I don't
it,
like that story. I'm going to delete it. That's how you ban
well,
it.
I have, as somebody who is an author myself, and we just talked about book bans and things like that. I want to encourage people, if you really hate my book,
buy it and burn it.
Ishkadoodle. Yeah, please buy 100 copies of it and burn them. It's fine by me.
You're a pretty
as long
fair
as,
guy.
As long as you buy them
Okay?
first.
As long as you pay for it.
Burn it away.
All right. So the beginning of in the beginning of February, you're going to Disney. aren't
Yes.
you? You're going to Disney.
We are.
Orlando, right?
Yeah. Disney World.
Now, did you hear about Roboland?
Roboland?
Roboland.
I don't know that I have.
Roboland is a new theme park in Orlando.
Ah.
It opened last Thursday. So that's why I'm letting you know now. So when you go.
All right. Interesting.
Roboland.
What is Roboland?
They call themselves the first robotics and technology innovation amusement park in the country. Guests can interact with robots, virtual reality, and other interactive exhibits. Food is even made by robots in Roboland. I'm not kidding. You're looking at this like, and I know
there-
you.
I'm gonna look and see if
I don't know if they have a website or not.
Yeah.
Don't eat the Soylent Green. One robot, who's called Sophia, has a human face, but the back of her head
see where this
is all
is going.
circuits and wires.
See where this is going. Hello, Maria.
It's Sophia. Don't call her the
Oh,
wrong
sorry,
name.
I was thinking this.
She'll zap you. Stepford Wives. Is that where you went with that?
Here's your martini, sir.
But Roboland. Yeah, there's also Titan the Robot,
I see this Titan.
who made his debut on Britain's version of Britain's Got Talent.
Well,
They make special announcements. They also have a robot who's an actor, a robot fish, a robot dog, a robot butler, a robot hand, call him Mr. Hand, and several more that could creep you out. That's Roboland. So I expect that you may even look into this while you're there.
I'm looking into it right now.
No, I mean when you get there, actually buy tickets to Roboland.
Right.
Because I hadn't heard anything. You would think you'd see ads or something about this.
Is Sophia single or? They've got a phone number.
She's short-circuited. You want to call?
Yeah, why don't you call
All right,
let's
hold
use
on.
the giggle line here.
Let me get on the giggle line. All right.
Are we on the,
No, I went to that. Let's go to the phone part. All right, what's the number?
all right. 407 420 7962. All right, let's see if we
Are we connected there?
should be.
Calling Roboland. I wonder if they're open this early. Aren't you glad I surprised you with something new? This was our show ender. Apparently the robots aren't answering.
This mailbox is not currently accepting messages
Oh, wow, this
because
is-
voicemail has not yet been activated.
number.
Okay, so
Please
maybe
try
it's
your
not
call
that
again
well of a-
later.
Well, what kind of a
Este
robot is
funde
this? They don't even have
correo
voicemail. They can't even
it's-
empty your damn mailbox.
It's Roboland.
Okay.
While you're in charge of
You know,
investigating.
we
what you
tried to give them a free plug there.
did. Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
they got enough info.
I wanted to talk to Sophia.
You have to make an appointment.
So,
Sophia, who's the back of her head,
yeah.
is all circuits and stuff, so
Well, you
that
wanna-
could freak you
Do you want
out.
to see Sophia?
Yeah, let's. Can you put her up on the screen?
I
Oh,
actually
Sophia doesn't have much hair.
Yeah.
She looks kind of like Annie Lennox from the
kind
original.
of. I mean, I hate to do this. It's difficult to see.
for that, but Sophia.
I mean, I could. Anyway, still figuring this thing out.
So now you know.
Whether you wanted to or not.
Well, I figured since you're going that way,
Yeah, I will. Check it out.
All right. We will be back tomorrow with the great Bonnie Runyon joining us for Friday. The 2-cent history lesson. We'll have another trivia question tonight. And drawing for lunch for two from the Torch 180. We have our 2-cent history lesson to get to before we're done. Right?
We do.
Now I got to get the 2-cent history lesson now because I forgot.
So, of course, brought to you by Drew Goebel at Oakland Insurance. Give us the 2-minute drill on the 2-cent history lesson. 2-minute drill.
Hut. Go long. All right. 1838 in this state, Tennessee became the first state to prohibit alcohol. Isn't that the home of Jack Daniels? Tennessee?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
1875, the electric drill was patented on this state. Are you timing me?
I am.
I'm hitting the sidelines. A man by the name of Captain Wells found the world's largest diamond in 1905. 3,106 carat.
Was that the Hope Diamond? Oh,
it's Captain Wells' diamond. Quit trying to drag out. We're in the middle of a two-minute drill. That was Captain Wells, by the way. Television was first demonstrated in 1926 by J.L. Baird in London. Here, we thought it was an American thing.
No. Although the actual inventor of television was actually a Russian guy, but came to America.
I see.
Anyway.
It's important. Don't watch your TV. John Lennon, 1970, wrote, recorded, and mixed his new single called Instant Karma in one day.
Well, back in the day.
Sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
Instant Karma, gonna get you. Call it Instant Karma instead of Carmen. And boom, put it down on tape.
Instant Carmen is a bit of a different thing.
You'll find her at Roboland.
Let's call her number.
Prince. No snorting during the. I only got a minute and a half.
You got 30 seconds.
Prince made his CVA debut on American Bandstand in 1980. Performed a few songs, but when he was and he was a genius at it, then he got questioned by Dick Clark and seemed stunned. He seemed to like he was Cindy Brady.
Okay.
And it was on the stage in 1998. Bill Clinton declared, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Monica Lewinsky."
Well, of course he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No.
And it was on the stage in 2009. Octomom gave birth to 8.
And you nailed it.
I was going to expand on that, but I knew I had a few
yeah.
seconds. It was the edited version.
All right, 2-cent history lesson.
She screamed a lot.
Well, yeah. During the birth? Or, all right. Oakland Insurance brought to you by Drew Goebel, of course.
Shooting out of there like hit the jackpot.
Get the old pepper. Come on.
Right down
the middle.
Put a little mustard on that, baby.
Got a doctor back there. Steer!
On to the left. It was like whack-a-mole. Boom, boom. All right. 2-cent history.
Yeah.
In 2 minutes almost.
Brought to you by, maybe for the last time, by Drew Goebel at Oakland Insurance and Michigan-based Frankenmuth Insurance, providing you the peace of mind you need. At Oakland Insurance, they believe the best relationships are honest, upfront, and fair. Call Drew Goebel at Oakland Insurance today, 248-647-2500. All right, that's it. We're back tomorrow.
I got to go read a few books. I should.
Yes, you should, fella.
Me reading a few books. That's funny, isn't
I'm
it?
going to call Instant Carmen, and we'll
See you tomorrow.
see you tomorrow.
You've been giggling with Mike and John. Tune in next time and giggle on.